Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making Mama Rogers egg bread. Now you may say, what is egg bread? Well, it's really cornbread, but this isn't a light and fluffy cornbread. This is a dense cake, custardy type of cornbread that's absolutely delicious. And most people here in the South use egg bread to make their dressing with. Your turkey and dressing, not stuffing. Stuffing's inside the bird, dressings on the outside. We dress the turkey. This recipe has been passed down for generations, and this is my grandmother's handwriting, and it says Mama Rogers egg bread. And Mama Rogers is my great grandmother. She's my mother's mother's mother. And she died when I was about 6 months old, and I don't remember her, but my mother has certainly helped to keep her memory alive. She has told us countless stories about Mama Rogers, and so has my grandmother. And when my grandmother makes cornbread or dressing, this is the recipe that she goes to. And I'm making this in my grandmama's cast iron skillet. This is one of my earthly treasures here. When she broke up housekeeping, as they say, they asked each family member what they wanted, and I wanted her cast iron skillet. And I also got her recipe books. And I'm telling you what, there's not a greater gift that I could get than these things right here. I'm using a fine cornmeal. This is just a really fine stone ground cornmeal, and it's absolutely delicious. You don't want to use a coarse cornmeal for this. Now, I'll show you. Look at the texture of this. See how fine it is? It's really like flour. So I strongly suggest that you try to find this, either a fine or maybe a medium ground will do, but not a coarse ground for sure. Now, I'm starting with my skillet, and I am going to heat this skillet in the oven. And to grease it, I'm taking a tablespoon, there and about, of bacon grease. If you don't want to use bacon grease, you can use vegetable oil, you can use shortening, butter, whatever you like, but hey, I like the flavor of this bacon grease. And in the oven, that goes. Now let's get started on mixing up this cornbread, or egg bread. And I've got my cornmeal, and the recipe calls for 2.5 cups. And there we go. Cornbread is really popular here in this part of the country, and I'm sure it's because corn was readily available. They didn't have the wheat flour like you do up north. They had the corn, and therefore this egg bread really is a simulation of just a really thick biscuit kind of bread. Now to this, I'm adding a teaspoon of baking powder. And that goes right in. And also a teaspoon of soda. This is baking soda. So you've got baking powder and baking soda. You'll see baking soda a lot with anything that requires buttermilk. There's a reaction that goes on with that that's pretty spectacular. So don't eliminate that. And I'm adding teaspoon salt and a teaspoon of sugar. Now what I'm going to do is just whisk this together, just so everything's not sitting on top. There we go. Now I'm adding some vegetable oil. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. So in we go with that. 1, 2. You know, I have used butter in this recipe before, and it's very, very good, but the oil does add more moisture. So definitely use the oil. 2 eggs, hence the egg bread. You know, we have a hot water cornbread, and the hot water cornbread does not have eggs in it. So I'm thinking maybe they called this egg bread because this cornbread had eggs in it. I don't know. I have looked up why they called it egg bread. I have not found an answer. If you know why they call it egg bread, would you please leave it in the comments and let us know. I've Googled it, I've searched it, I've asked my relatives, and no one can say why they called it egg bread. Now, I've got 2 cups of whole buttermilk. And that's going right in. Buttermilk. Love it. Now I'm going to whisk this together and just get it all nice and blended. That looks just right. Just don't want any lumps. Now, let me grab our skillet. I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to make sure that that bacon grease goes up the sides. This bread is not going to rise really high, but you definitely want to grease the sides because you want it all to come out easily. Now, in goes the batter. And I just want to smooth this out so it's nice and even. Taste. It's good. Now, this is going back in the oven, and this is going to take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. I have the oven preheated to 400 degrees, and what you're looking for is a light golden brown on top. You don't want to overcook it because if you do, it's going to dry out your batter. So when it's done, I'll see you right back here. This smells so good. It smells like my mother's house. It smells like my grandmother's house. And I hope that my grandchildren say it smells like Nana's house. This is smoking hot, y'all, but look at it. Doesn't that look beautiful? I should let it sit for a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and cut into it. This is so moist. Get my plate. Look at that. Let's see. Look at this beautiful piece of cornbread. You know, it's got to have a little butter on it. Just a little. Just going to put it right over the top. No, I can't get this in my mouth fast enough. Let's see how we did. It's so moist. See what I mean? Just a denser type cornbread than the light, airy, fluffy cornbread. And hey, I love that too. I've never met a cornbread that I don't like. You can add jalapenos, you can add cheese, you can add whatever it is that you like, or do just what I'm doing. Put a little butter on it, and in the mouth it goes. This is delicious. My goodness. You know what? Most people around here add a little syrup or a little honey. Okay, one more bite with the honey. Y'all have got to make this. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. And when you make that turkey and dressing this year, use this as the base of your dressing. You will make the best that you have ever had. Well, my husband ought to be home in just a little while. It's almost 5 o'clock. Got cornbread made. Not sure what I'm making next, but before I do, I'm gonna go finish the rest of this. If you like this video, press that like button, share it with your friends. The more the merrier. You are a blessing to me. I can't tell you how much you bless me. Thanks for your comments. Thank you for your prayers. I pray for y'all. And until next time, have a great day.